conscious breathers, infinite beings alike, breath family. Let's see who's on today. It's pretty early in the world. Well, at least on this side of the world. It's on 6 o'clock. What's going on? Today's topic is light is food. That is the topic of the day. This is my first sauna talk. I woke up at 2, and then I have someone doing a whole breath dojo experience today. So we started at 3, and then literally in one more hour we have another session. So the whole breath dojo experience is every 3 hours for that one person. I've done it in groups in Breath Family, but I think Breath Family just voted that we want to do a Padai workshop. So get your Padai slappers ready. I'm going to give everyone like another couple weeks, and then I'll set the date. That way everyone who is in Breath Family ordered some, they can prepare, but you can still use your hands here and there, and I'll go over that in the workshop. But for future references, even if you don't want to join the members group, I'm going to have opportunities where you can still tap in, and I'll open that to the public and just experience what Breath Family is all about and give everyone an opportunity to experience that. So the next workshop is going to be on Padai and why we slap, why we implement it in some of the alchemy breathwork practices, why it's so powerful. We're going to go over that. What's going on, beautiful peoples? So we're going to talk about how light is food. Why is light food? How is light food? What's the reasoning behind light being food? Now, if you saw the video of me doing the plasma therapy and the Rife machine, such a powerful combination, but the Rife machine also had like a plasma thing in there. And it's really interesting. Our bodies are technically made of plasma, right? And plasma, when you put in a bulb, you see it has light, electricity, and things of that nature. And our ancient ancestors knew of this, and they utilized it for their healing modalities. Some of them lived all the way to thousands of years old or hundreds of years old. And these are one of these modalities that they use. Light, it's literally even within the Ark of the Covenant, the Bible. When you look at Robert Edward Grant, I hope I said his name right, Robert Edwards Grant's work, when he visited the Ark of the Covenant, you could literally see electrons. I don't know if it was him that turned it on or it was some documentary I saw, and it's an electrical device. It's not just a treasure chest or any of that. All the way down to Moses' staff. Did you know Moses' staff was, it had a bunch of crystals in there, and it was actually golden. And it was used for many different healing modalities in terms of Moses' staff. And yeah, it goes so deep when you're speaking light language in this aspect in terms of healing. Light being a language in itself, because light, we're very when you go into fluorescent light or those white lights, did you know your melanin reacts to lighting the fastest? So that goes to show you how our bodies are so reactive to light. This is why I love red light therapy. And in this sauna, actually, there is no red light. I had to bring, oh, this is pretty hot. I had to bring my portable red light, and you can find that literally on the biohacking page on my website. It's such a huge hack that I had to say yes to when I went to the conference. Yeah, let's talk about sunlight. So, any light, I think. No. So when it comes to fluorescent lighting, and this is why schools, I truly believe why schools are like this too, and why even in a 9 to 5 cubicle workplace, they have this, where they have those type of lighting, which is actually detrimental to your skin. Little do people know, it actually lessens your melanin reactors, so you don't heal as fast. You actually age. That's when it actually speeds up aging. That's where, it's more, the workplace is such an interesting, depending on where you work, it's such an interesting ground, so to speak. But when I worked with offices, I actually contracted with offices. You'd be surprised when a CEO goes on a medicine trip or have a realization that health is wealth. Trust me, they want people like me, or maybe some healers are here, so to speak. You'd be surprised, they will hire you to make the workplace a lot less stressful, right? So I had them replace their lighting, and it made a huge difference. Just the lighting alone. Not everyone practiced the breath work, not everyone did the other practices, but just the lighting alone in the surveys that they were doing, and the work production that they had in these offices increased dramatically. Just the lighting alone. So that goes to show you, lighting is huge. It's a huge part of this human existence that we live in, all the way down to the food. So, biophotons, that's a great thing to dig into in terms of light energy, in terms of light information, and why it's so powerful. It's mainly the biophotons that's keeping us alive when you're quote unquote eating food. That's mainly what the body wants. It could care less about the physical aspect of the food. It's just that the food carries the information of the biophotonic resonance, and your body feeds on that in many different ways depending on the light spectrum that it's sucking the energy from the food from, and then it reacts the chemical way that it does. So light is food. Where the sunlight will hit the grass, the animal eats it. Depending on how fast you eat the animal, then you get some of those biophotonic resonance. That's why I would say a plant. There you go. Oh, pause. Connecting. All right, that's better. I took off Wi-Fi. Can you guys hear me? Welcome. A lot of people are popping in. Yeah, but we're talking about light being food. Blue light, I'm assuming, is bad. Not all of blue light. It depends when. So when you wake up, your body's, it's good to get some blue light into your eyes. It really is. You need as much light as possible as soon as you wake up. And that helps stimulate the body in a beautiful way. What's the best diet to follow to heal yourself, including meat? Listen, that all depends on where you're at, location-wise, environmental-wise. I don't know your background. I honestly work with all types of diets. I don't force any type of diet on anybody. If they want to go towards a certain way, again, the breath is a foundational aspect of that. And since we're on the topic, I had one person, I didn't tell him to stop taking vitamin D pills, but he chose to stop taking vitamin D pills, and 6 months down the line, he did blood work, and they found more vitamin D readings than he ever had. And what was the main thing that changed was his breathing. Not his diet, none of that. It was just his breathing that changed. So what that goes to show you how powerful our gut is, such a responsible advocate of absorbing light from your environment. And also, he barely went outside, which is pretty mind-blowing. He barely went outside. So the biophotonic energy is all around us. You don't really have to go outside that much or any of that, but it's best to do that because it's abundance of energy. Why not? It's easier to assimilate energy in that sense. But I had him open the window a lot and things like that. He went from being a home hermit to going out into nature now, because he can finally feel the difference, and it's a beautiful thing seeing just being part of that experience from someone, being a homebody, so to speak, to always love going outside, or at least having the window open, doing breath work next to the window. We did sessions like that, and he assimilated more, you can say, more nutrients from his food and more nutrients from the environment. Going back into light being food, because light is the real food. Carbon is the real food, not even oxygen. Oxygen is just part of it. You're not an oxygen-based being. You're a carbon-based being. The more carbon you have that is running efficiently in your body, the easier it is to assimilate oxygen going up the brain to keep you alive. Hey, Grand Rising. Got a handful of people in here. I remember the story my Sifu told me of a hard Qigong legend about a guy trapped in a dungeon or cave. Yeah, that goes to show you something about, let's talk dark room therapy, since we're talking about light as food. So here is the double-edged sword when it comes to dark room therapy. And when I did my 30-day dry, I did most of it in my dark basement. And here's the thing you will understand. If you're doing efficient energy work and you're in a dark room therapy, you will see the light that burns within you. And then you're going to learn, more so remember, forget learning, more so remember how to shift that light within you into different parts of your body to heal, and so you don't, quote unquote, even need food at that point too. That's part of it. Yeah, but it's funny because you would think, hey, we need a lot of sunlight, we need all this. So when I work with people that live in colder climates, right, I definitely tell them if they can't afford, red light therapy like this, we work on doing breath work in the nighttime. That's a powerful time before they go to bed, because I'm teaching them, I'm helping them remember, keyword remember, forget learning, but it's all about remembering. We all have this within us. It's our natural mechanics within our bodies. And maybe even some of you, when I work with some people, they really remember at a time where color was more vibrant as a kid and things of that nature. Yeah, you as a kid was just naturally playing with the essence of light within you. And that way life was quote unquote vibrant at a certain point in time, right? So when you're doing dark room and you're doing the breath work, more so parasympathetic breath work, you'll assimilate like you're going to sleep. So that's a huge plus when it comes to parasympathetic style of breathing versus sympathetic, because if you're doing sympathetic at a certain point, you're not really going too much into homeostasis. You're more far away from homeostasis than you realize. So when you're sleeping, right, you have more lucid dreams, right, and things of that nature. That is really light. You're playing with light in your subconscious mind to give you those images that you're seeing. So when you're consciously doing breath work or parasympathetic breath work in the dark, you're assimilating, you're recreating the point in time of it if you were quote unquote sleeping. That's why I say sleep is literally unconscious breath work. It really is. And the more you do these styles of breathing, you're going to recreate and have more a lucid redirection of light, and literally utilize that to heal certain parts of your body, and you're literally recreating the sun within, as I like to say. I need to work on remembering. Hey, Live Josh, thank you for buying a badge. Much love to you. Was it cold in the basement? No, this was around summertime. I was really lucky. My parents went to Jamaica and I took advantage of utilizing the basement. This was in Jersey, by the way. Jersey has basements. How much do you sleep? I barely sleep. Honestly, like the max is like 3 to 4 hours of sleep at this point. Yes, my dreams become more vivid. Hey, Josh. Yeah, mitochondria works with light and air. You're right. So even with red light therapy here, you can even gaze into it. That's perfectly fine because it's a mitochondria. It's very healing for the eyes. There's no blue light here at all. Well, especially with this company. I made sure to ask him all the nitty-gritty questions before even putting it on my website. I don't just put any on it. So if you're someone that's trying to partner with me or whatever, you're going to have to go through some hard screening. I don't just put anything on my website. And if it truly really helps people, then I'll put it on my website for sure. Let's see here. I have, for those that are just joining, welcome. If anybody wants to hop on here and talk about light being food. Hey, Sigala, thank you for the badge, love. Much love to you. Much love. Much love. Yeah, but going back even to the creams and stuff you put on your skin, right? Most of it, or even essential oils. Let's look at essential oils. Why are essential oils so healing for skin topically and internally, depending on how you use it, but more so topically? Why is it so healing? Because the essential oils carry a certain frequency and resonance. I think from like 20 megahertz to 30 megahertz and beyond. So it's still carrying that electrical resonance means that it's alive, right? It's still, if we were to put it under calligraphy photography, you'll still see the electrons continuously like go within the essential oil. It's still carrying the light spectrum. It's still carrying light energy of that plant, that specific plant. So then when you put it on your body, and I tell people if you're doing essential oils, put it on your body and go straight into the sun. It's such a beautiful practice to get in the habit of, and try not wiping away your sweat. So let's even talk about sweat. Sweat is not even waste. It's if anything, if there is waste in sweat, they found only like 0.1%. It's one of the biggest myths. So even sweat, and you know when you taste the sweat, it tastes kind of like a tingling sensation in a sense. It's literally the same thing as your tear ducts when you're crying. It's really almost the same thing. And sweat also has urea, and we know how electrical urine is in terms of urea, right? So try not wiping your sweat away, especially if you're in the sun and it's hitting you and you're sweating, because that's information that is when you're air drying and letting the sweat just go away and then seep back into the body. It's carrying all that sunlight hitting you, seeping back into your body, giving it informational resonance. And that'll help you big time, especially when you're fasting and you're sweating a lot. Go out in the sun and take advantage of utilizing and capturing the sun's information and utilize that for healing. The best time to be out in the sun, honestly, is from like 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. That's when infrared here is at an all-time high, healing the body. So 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. is definitely when you want to do them. What is the best food to eat after a fast? That's a great question. Fruit. Fruit is the best, or citrus, specifically citrus, something like even putting lime on the fruit is pretty powerful in terms of breaking your fast, because those are electrolytes, literally. So how does waste come out? How do we eliminate? If you didn't, I would highly suggest you go see the IGTV about exhaling, of why exhaling isn't just invisible air. So yeah, if we're not doing it through sweat, the main aspect of waste leaving the body is through our breath. That is the number one. It's not even through our pores, nope. It's through our breath and how you poop out. Point blank period. But the interesting part about the exhale, it's not truly waste. It's just that the carbon factor, because we exhale carbon, right? But look at it this way. You eat the food, goes in your body, and it's creating gases, right? Where does that gas go? Through your exhale. That's how you help eliminate, keyword help, eliminate excess gas. But the excess gas that you're that you're exhaling is actually technically part of whatever food you ate, technically, but in little microbial particles. So the main point is definitely pooping at that point. But if you're doing exercise and the breath work, of course, it'll help push out the waste. And I've had many people before even throw up during a breathwork session. That's how you know it is detoxifying as hell. Yeah. And you look at all these plant medicines that quote unquote help you throw up or help you quote unquote release, right? You can do the same thing with breathwork, but not too much of an aftershock effect, because your body's compensating, especially with this style of breathing. We all do nasal, and I've had people go straight to the bathroom afterwards and just flush out. So that goes to show you the more powerful, look at it this way, the more powerful you can exhale, the more powerful you can detoxify and eliminate waste. That's why in alchemy breathwork we emphasize more on the exhales. If anything, we don't even hold the breath. It doesn't make sense to hold the breath. In a colder climate, can I switch regular lamps to infrared lamps, or would the house explode with heat? No. In my place, I literally just I mainly have red lights all over. Yeah, I mainly have red lights all over, so it's perfectly fine. If you can afford it, I would go for it. It'll change even the environment. Look at it this way too. Also, red light travels the fastest to the body, or just in general. Infrared light spectrum travels a lot faster. That's why that time range when you're in the sun is crucial for healing. You can assimilate more, even sun gazing times where the sunrise or the sunset is so powerful because the infrared, and sometimes when you see the sunset, right, it's a little bit red. You think that's a coincidence? Yeah. So that's where the benefits come in when it comes to sun gazing and the mitochondria. Where can I find the research for frequencies of essential oils? I would say there's a whole book. If you saw the video of me doing the Rife machine, there's actually a whole book of Rife. Look up frequencies from Rife frequencies, and it literally tells you frequencies for this disease, frequencies for that disease, frequencies for this, frequencies for that. It goes heavily into detail, and I can only imagine if, I don't even want to say the PH word, ARMA, yeah, if they didn't have the influence they did, even back then, we'd be probably at the point where we go to an airport and they can see, oh, this person has this disease. Hey, go into this chamber right here, and they literally tap into the frequencies, and boom, it's all gone. That's why I'm not too, at least people who are in close circles of me, I'm not too scared, quote unquote, if unfortunately maybe a family member gets, the thing. If they get it, and it needs to be removed, you can literally utilize frequency therapy to eliminate it. That's why I'm not scared. And yeah, and me personally, I haven't been sick in over 7 years, 8 years now, and that was the main point. That also even helped my friend make a lifestyle change, because I was preaching to him here and there, and I was just seeing the benefits. I wasn't even forcing it on him. I was just saying, hey, there's benefits of this, benefits of that. And then I asked him, it just dawned on me while we were driving. I said, have you ever seen me sick in the last 6 years you've known me? He just pulls over the car. He's like, holy shit, no. And that was the day my friend became health conscious. All right. But people get acne and it's detoxing, so we detox to the skin. Yes and no. You can look at that as like an excess point where, let's say you have acne here or somewhere on your face, but that is relating to your organs. So you can literally have a face map, and you can tell which part of the face, like down here is like the liver, up here is like the stomach area, and all these different reflexology points. And that tells you which part of your organs actually that is detoxing the most, and that'll help flush out in terms of the lymphatic system and help you quote unquote poop out. That's what you're pooping out. Is a 10 a.m., 4 p.m. time block relevant to countries near the equator? So yeah, let's talk about specifics. So when you're talking about that, yes and no. But honestly, if you get to the point where you're totally detoxed in a sense, and when you're totally detoxed, you can be out more in the sun even the whole day and be fine. Like, I try to be out, if it's a sunny day here in Miami, I try to be out as much as possible, all the way from the sunrise to like 6 p.m. and then I'll go back inside. Like, I'll just sit out there just soaking it all in as much as I can. But those are for people, who have issues with the sun, or, slowly is getting into a healthier lifestyle, so to speak. That 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. is a great way to, jumpstart your lifestyle into a better one, in the sense of utilizing sunlight to help heal you. How can we use light to release specific traumas? So sun gazing definitely helps. In the Breath Family Members group, I just uploaded how to absorb more sunlight energy, and within those protocols, you will definitely release some trauma for sure. I had one lady who did one of the protocols, and her right arm started like twitching, just uncontrollably, like twitching. And I told her, like, that's a huge sign that you're releasing something that's right there. And there's so many protocols and ways of utilizing sun beyond just sun gazing. There's so many different ways. Is that infrared light on you? How long do you do it daily? So I try to, honestly, if it's a cloudy day outside, I'll definitely have this on as much as possible. My whole house is just filled with infrared light. But I want to add to that, if you do end up doing that, you're going to change the atmosphere of the air. Going back to the fact that infrared travels the fastest, one of the fastest in the light spectrum. If it travels that fast, don't you think it's going to affect the air that you breathe? So even in the technology that I'm patenting right now with Brother Gaia, we have it so that it's implementing infrared from a natural source, which is so light changing. It's going to be huge. Why is infrared so beneficial? Uh, it also produces ATP, which you would think, oh, only food does this. No. It helps produce ATP in the body to produce certain sugars that you quote unquote need in terms of nutrients. It's more so going back to the main topic. It's biophotons that the body truly desires. It's biophotonic energy. Beyond nutrients, beyond calories, it's the biophotons in food that makes food. You know, McDonald's or Burger King or all that stuff. It has probably the least biophotons you could possibly imagine. What infrared equipment should we buy? Is there a special type you need to get? Thanks. Yeah, so it's really all on my website. I'll type it in www.alchemybreath.work, and you just go to breath healing products and you go to biohacking. It's all there. And there's also, if you guys are into EMF protection, protecting yourself, there's even EMF blankets in there. There's EMF stickers that have been proven that you can place on your earbuds, and you can block off the EMF. It's such a night and day thing where you see the readings back and forth when you go on that website. It's night and day. And little do people know, even if it's wired headphones, it still is producing EMF. Think about it. It's wired to your phone. Don't you think some of those electrons go to your... Come on now. Sorry, I dropped out. I did miss your answer. Fibrosis. Oh, calcification. Yeah, the infrared would definitely help with that. The breath work, of course, will help with that, of course. Let me see the questions here. So detoxing the body can curb sunburns. Oh, yes. I've worked with a bunch of people that have skin disease in their families, and they come out dark after 4 months of juice cleansing and eating the right herbs and eating the right foods, so to speak, because when you get more chlorophyll in the body, it's like your body becomes more of a plant. You can absorb more sunlight. You don't have any blockages of energetic resonance in your body, and it really helps you heal, all the way to people with diabetes that I've worked with, and even this older gentleman with type 1 diabetes shifted dramatically. So I hope I answered your question right there. Let's see. Any more questions, or does anyone want to hop on here live? Let me see how much time I have left. Yeah. So I'm doing a breath dojo today with this older gentleman, actually. And if you guys don't know what breath dojo is a full day experience, and I've done this with Breath Family too. There's a bunch of testimonials on it. It's a full day experience where we start from 3 a.m. Eastern time all the way to 12 a.m. the next day. Every 3 hours we do like a session. So personal breath dojos are out there if you want to experience that yourself. It's totally different, I realized, doing it personally versus a whole group setting with like Breath Family, but it's still powerful for sure. But it's more personal. Like even before we start, we do like an introductory call. We go over your intentions, what you're aiming to do in your day-to-day life, and what that looks like. So that's what Breath Dojo is, if you ever want to do a personal one just like that. And yeah, it won't be out there for long. I think I'm the only person out there really who's doing something like that. So take advantage while you can. Much love from South America. Are you out for a long bike ride in the sun? So yeah, exercising in the sunlight is powerful too, because what? You're moving the blood, and you're allowing just your pores to just seep in. Nano alive. I have to take out the mic. 1 second. Okay, there it is. Hello there.
How are you?
I'm good, sister. How are you?
Interesting question. I wanted to share and to ask you about scars, skin.
Okay.
So I've been taught by my parents and people around that when you have these kind of marks, let me show you, on the skin, this is because I fell down from my bike. So the color of the skin goes whiter, I think, because the pigmentation fell down, and I shouldn't be exposed to the sunlight because I will get the mark. So I want to know what are your thoughts on it. If we I don't know, like my intuition says that we shouldn't hide from it, but I just want to hear you.
So when it comes to scars, you can definitely heal. Like I had scars on my knee. It's gone. Um, you can definitely utilize something like putting urine on there and then going out in the sunlight. That's because it's technically stem cell therapy. But if you're afraid of the urine, what you could do is use chlorophyll. So some maybe like make like a something if you would make like a green smoothie or something and then rub it on the skin and then going out in the sunlight and utilizing the biophotonic resonance of the plant going back and forth, and that'll seep into the scars. It'll take about a good month until you really start seeing the difference. Hey, but that's better than a couple weeks here and there. But around those times, like I was saying, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m., that's a great window, just if you're working on your scars to get rid of it. That'll help too, along with your chlorophyll intake. That's a big factor as well. So that'll help you assimilate and heal those scars at the same time. But a powerful practice is whatever you're putting on your skin to drink it as well too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that way, the DNA working the way it should, it'll work on the scars. When you're drinking and you're putting it on your skin, there's going to be a symbiotic relationship as it works to heal and do deep, even a deeper resonance of healing towards that specific area.
Okay. So that will work on stretch marks. Is
Yes. Oh, also the pedai.
oh,
Slapping. Yeah, slapping that area as well, for sure, and then just having it out in the sun, because when you're slapping that area and you're having it out in the sunlight, it's going to go deep in terms of penetration into the skin and help heal.
that's cool. Okay. Thank
No problem, sister.
you.
Peace. All right, I'll put the microphone back. Can you guys hear me? Oh, so someone's saying a few in the health space are saying that autophagy does not happen when fasting due to most being calcified and full of polyunsaturated fats, fibrosis. Do you know anything about that? Yes. Well, regardless, if you're on that journey of fasting, at a certain point it's going to go away anyway. So then you're going to go into autophagy anyway. But there's so much myths when it comes to autophagy. I wanted to do this at another live, but I'll talk about it here. When you fast a certain point in time, autophagy kicks in. Man, autophagy is going on every cycle of the day. But there's deeper aspects of autophagy that they're talking about in terms of it kicking in. Time really is not a factor when it comes to autophagy. When you go at a certain point of not quote unquote eating, you have to respect that everyone has different bodies, right? So for some people, the deep aspect of autophagy is not even it's I don't even know what the word is. Can't really say it right now. So for some people, the autophagy aspect of what you're talking about in terms of it kicking in, for some people it'll be 3 days. For some people it'll be a day, and that also depends on how long you've been, fasting, going back and forth in terms of your fasting journey. That all plays a part. You fasting for X amount of hours, autophagy kicks in. It doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that. And there's tons of blood tests to actually attest to what I'm saying. All right. So, what about STD? Can people, I don't want to say the C word, see them? You guys know what I'm talking about. See them with light and oxygen. Yes. Yes, you can. So even the beautiful thing about having red light that I didn't tap into is placing it on your sexual organs. Yeah, that's a huge boost because unfortunately we live in, or for some of us, we can't go outside and go whoosh. Unless you want to go to a nude beach or you have the privacy of your home, definitely do it if you can and shine some light on your testosterone, your testes, your balls, or your vagina, and you're going to get an increase of testosterone dramatically. I think it goes up by like 150% or even more than that, depending on how long you do it. The longer, the better. And if you're just getting into it, I would say moisturize it. So don't just, if you're just getting into it, moisturize it. If you're going to be out in the sun for a long time and you're just getting into it, moisturize. Maybe if you can, utilize some UT, of course. My favorite is utilizing the Marne glass because the Marne glass, that's a huge, going back into light therapy. So Marne glass is the fastest way you can absorb UVA rays and infrared light into water using that glass. And it really ties all the way back to ancient technology, how they would use amethyst into the water system to restructure the water. But before the pictures of kings and pharaohs wearing jewelry and all that, they understood the fact that, hey, we can utilize this to restructure our waters. That's what they did. They didn't just rip it from the ground. And at that point in time, I think that's when the fall of man really happened, when they got greedy and into their ego and all this stuff, right? The Marne glass you can literally put out in the sunlight. It doesn't even need to be on the sunlight, like close to the window or at least some sun hitting it. It'll absorb the infrared and the UVA rays, and you're literally drinking the sun at that point. That's also in the biohacking store. But also, I never went over this, but utilizing it on the skin. That's also another way of absorbing more of the sunlight. When I work with people who live in colder areas around the world, and they don't get too much quote unquote vitamin D, I tell them utilize the Marne glass, and the Marne glass helps a lot, and you definitely taste it as well. It's more of a sweet taste. If you just have water in there, preferably distilled water because it's the fastest water to structure. If you have it in there, it'll taste sweet, but not in the candy sweet sense. It's really hard to describe. It's yeah, I really don't even know. I still to this day don't know how to describe it, but it's definitely sweet, and it's not in a sugary sense, but you can just tell it has a sweet type of taste, and that's how you know the biophotonic light spectrum is definitely seeped into the water at that point. And all you need is just 30 minutes. You can have it out there for longer, but 30 minutes. When it comes to different glasses, the Martin glass is the fastest, 30 minutes. And then you have the blue glass, so it's like 3 hours. And then you have the regular glass that is 7 hours. So if you have a clear glass, a regular clear glass, that'll take 7 hours for the light to really seep into the water. Yeah, the Martin glass, that's all on the website. But the Martin glass, if you order from the website, you can also have custom wording on it. And it also comes with tensor rings on the bottom to even structure the water even more. It comes with the triskelion on the bottom. Great live session. Oh, thank you. Do you know ways to optimize waking up early and feeling alert in the morning? Could you share your morning routine and practice? It's funny, I literally just recorded that in here in terms of organ breathing. But something also to help, because that's for the members group, but something also to help is try not eating in the nighttime. If you can just stick with liquids in the nighttime, eat your solids if you're on the solids or whatever, eat more in the daytime, and you'll see a huge shift. You have better sleep, and it'll be easier to wake up because you're not going to feel lethargic all the time. That's one of the beautiful things that I'm witnessing on this journey of almost 5 years on liquids, that I can wake up at 2 and I don't feel lethargic or like meh, on a Monday. So I remember those days, and I honestly don't miss those days. The first few weeks where I've noticed like, oh, my sleep has gone down. I'm waking up at like 4, or no, I was starting to wake up at like 4 or 5. Yeah, 4 or 5, and then it became a repetitive. In repetition, it started at 3. Now I'm waking up at 3 a.m., 3 a.m., 3 a.m., 3 a.m., and I feel great. And sometimes my partner, if she's not raw, and I notice if she'll eat like vegan or cook sometimes, like she'll wake up even longer than me, and it's so funny. Like I'll wake up at 3 and I'm there in the bed. I'm like, she's still sleeping. And it's a huge plus too, because I don't even sleep flat. I actually sleep upright. So sometimes I sleep upright. Most of the time I sleep upright, and that really helps just get you into a different state of Zen as well, if you want to call it that. But it's an interesting aspect of it, because when you're sleeping like that and your spine is aligned, around that 3 o'clock marker, some people will utilize it where they'll astral project, where they'll wake up, but they try like, oh, let me be still. I'm not gonna move. I'm not gonna move. I notice my consciousness right now, and then I'm gonna just be still. Let me go into the astral. For me, I can utilize it and go straight into like a breath practice in a sense, after the sleeping state or the resting state, so to speak, and it'd be a total different style of experiencing breath in that sense, and that's what I personally use it for, rather than astral projecting, because I don't know. I rather utilize it for healing versus astral project. I remember when I would do it consistently in terms of astral projecting, what I would do is I rather like fly into the sky and just keep on going endlessly, just into the wind that way, and that's a lot of fun. But honestly, I'd rather use it for like more body awareness and connecting the spirit and the mind in that sense. Been fasting for the last 3 months out in the sun, doing physical therapy. My groin is not so much better, to be honest. Lost 2 stone, feel very weak. Now my hands are now always cold. Yeah, DM me. I could definitely help you. Losing faith. Yeah, DM me. I could definitely help you. So when it comes to fasting, if you're someone new that just follow me and you're not into fasting, or you want to get into it, learn how to breathe first before even learning how to fasting. Learning how to fast. A lot of people I'm seeing from different coaching groups or camps are coming to me with like all these problems and stuff. And I'm like, well, did that person emphasize breath work at least? No. And even if they did, I'm like, well, what kind of breath work were you doing? More so sympathetic. So learn the different mechanics of breathing to save you a lot of time. And some people will go into breath work looking to get high or all that stuff. That's not a good reason. You utilize the breath for healing as much as possible, and that'll give you the most natural high in everyday life versus going up and down, up and down, up and down, versus nice steady pace into the rhythm of life. Have you heard of tertium depleted water? I think you spelled that wrong. I'm not sure. No, I'm not familiar with that. Got 9 minutes. If anybody wants to hop on here live or any more questions, let me know. I'm in it for the healing and longevity. I move, been meditating every morning to tap into alchemy breathwork. If something's not working the way you want it to, or you honestly don't feel a certain way, tap into alchemy breathwork. There's even playlists on YouTube under breath sessions. Go to my YouTube, and if you want to go from there and you want to even dive deeper, then the members group or the one-on-ones is definitely there for you. All right, I got 8 minutes on here. I'm about to go live with somebody. Here we go. Hey, brother.
What's good, G?
Where are you calling from?
Vancouver, BC.
Oh, snap. Is it cold over there yet, or is it still summertime?
Still summertime. It's like 22 degrees, you dig?
Nice.
Um,
So do you want to add to the topic, or do you have any questions about life?
I literally just joined. It's like 3:30 a.m. right now.
Oh, snap.
I'm just starting my breath right now, you know? And what I'm working on right now is breath retention
Mm-hmm.
and lifting from the bandhas.
Right.
And just breath retention bandhas and then holding the mudras in my inner body and my hands. And then I just feel all the energy pull upwards. And I just try to channel all of it and just like absorb it all. And then I take a big fat breath at the end.
Beautiful.
And also I'm a Tomo practitioner.
Fire. Literally fire.
Literally fire. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Do you try to do it out in the sun? How is that experience out in the sun versus like the cold?
Lately, like it used to be like I can only do it with a t-shirt on. I had to be in room temperature, but now I do it anywhere, any temperature, anything, and it's fire.
Nice. When you're doing breath work in general out in the sun, you're technically, you can absorb more of the sun rays that way too. I remember when we first came down to Miami, like my partner Jen, she was complaining about the sun a little bit. I'm like, hey, let's just sit down, let's do some breath work a little bit. And when we were done, she was like, now do you feel cool? I'm like, yeah, well, that's what happens. Like, I'll be out in the sun for 6+ hours, like here in Miami. I try to take advantage, and I could just feel you're just assimilating way more of the sun's energy into the body and recycling it over and over and over. And it's just a beautiful experience. And we were definitely made for the sun. The sun wasn't made against us. It was made for us.
Mm-hmm.